is a magic battle royale game made by Proletaria, where instead of using guns, players become wizards and use gauntlets to cast magic spells based off of elements. Before a match is found, a player gets to choose classes. For example, Toxicologist is Assassin, class that excels at close range. In Spellbreak, players can combine spells from different elements such as fireballs and tornadoes to make a fire tornado, or fire and toxic clouds making a big explosion, creating a unique combat system. However, despite the uniqueness of the game, I have some sad news. Unfortunately, they plan on no longer supporting the game and also shutting down the servers in 2023. When the game eventually does shut down, I will miss it. However, I believe if Proletaria were to continue to support this game, it could prosper. But unfortunately, they were bought out by Blizzard and are contracted to work on World of Warcraft. Sad that this is happening to one of my favorite games. However, it's clear that the game was mishandled. I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't heard about Spellbreak. They mishandled the marketing for the game. They pushed out a game that was severely in content. The game wasn't ready to be marketed, but they did it anyway. They built the game on a live service model. They were hoping that the player base who tried the game would stick around long enough to add in new content, such as a new gauntlet. Fortunately, that never came in. The seasonal updates weren't that meaningful. Because of this, most of the players who tried the game left. For the players who did stick around, such as me, were treated with a lack of transparency. What makes this worse is that Proletaria did build up a good reputation by being transparent by live streaming and having a roadmap. Stop updating the roadmap to lower expectations and to build up hype. I truly believe this was the wrong choice. Players who stuck around were expecting them to keep updating the roadmap. They decided not to, as they wanted to withhold some information to build up hype. Led some people to distrust Proletaria. All of a sudden, they went radio silent for 6 months. Some people speculated that they went radio silent because they went into debt financing.
Get moving, Breaker.
Then eventually the sad news broke. Oh, it's unfortunate that it's happening to one of my favorite games. I did see it coming. But this whole video isn't about the downfall of Spellbreak, as there's tons of videos explaining it. Rather, to explain why I will miss the game. To do this, I must explain what makes Spellbreak unique. Here on in the script, I explain the basic reasons why Spellbreak is unique. Explaining spell combinations such as how fire and tornado can combine to make a fire tornado. Mixing in the perks of the class, for example, Conduit's lightning strikes makes it easier to land fireballs, for example. Players craft their own playstyle. Perfect example of this is combining Tempest class and Frost. Combining these two, you get the perks of Tempest mobility, the ambidextrous talents to get extra mobility by ice skating with Frost offhand, which is really awesome to pull off and shows their skill expressions by doing the hard combination. Despite this, I don't agree with the Spellbreak's tweet saying that they don't want to focus on a new gauntlet because there's a lot of ways to combine this.
Time to move.
By adding a new gauntlet, it would have increased the amount of possibilities and kept the game fresh for new and old players alike. But despite my disappointment, I still love this game. Mobility within Spellbreak is really amazing and it's very unique, and there isn't a game like it. What makes it unique is that spells and levitations are part of your mana cost. Knowing how to manage both can be really game changing. Spellbreak's movement tech is very amazing. For example, dashing / dodging before touching the ground carries momentum, which feels really great to pull off. Aiming sorceries allows players to get extra hover distance, which feels amazing to pull off, but there's guys out there that explains what I'm talking about, but in a more detailed manner. And there is many more movement techs out there. They are the main two ones. Each class has their unique movement perks. A great example of this would be Toxologists. Get a perk where they can dash through their own toxic cloud. Pretty cool things they can do with that, such as if they look down and go backwards, they can bounce off of the clouds, which feels cool to pull off. Another thing they can do is splitting their own clouds to get multiple dashes, which is only unique to the Toxologist class, and that's really cool to see. The spells being projectiles, meaning that you have to lead your shots. A lot of the fights end up feeling like something that would have came out of anime. I had this really amazing moment where I was hovering in the air and the enemy was doing the same. We both fired at the similar times, and our fireballs collided. Fucking cool. That was a fucking cool and unique movement.
It was like up in the east somewhere.
These things combined make Spellbreak a unique game, and I fucking love it.
One stayed in type shit, like it was right there.
But when the game eventually shuts down, it's a game that
I
I'll
really
miss.
truthfully believed that.
Not all
until
hope
I met
is
him in real
lost.
life and he was like, bro, I'm one state over from Texas.
Spellbreak as a game will shut down. There is a way to access the .19 alpha build of this game. Will it work after the shutdown? Unfortunately, I don't have the answer to that question, but I hope there is a way to play Spellbreak after that happens. Even if it's not the Spellbreak that I'm familiar with. Just in case that doesn't work out, there's a new project called Kitsune Battle Mage. At this moment, the game is in alpha and the devs are looking for ideas and feedback, so feel free to check out the game on Steam. However, I do believe that Kitsune holds a lot of potential. It's different enough from Spellbreak to be its own game. Remove the gauntlet idea and let people have 6 different spells. Game players mix different spells to create their own unique playstyle. Movement isn't tied to mana, but instead it has its own energy bar. So you can blink or dodge while shooting spells. With plans of adding wall running, this could be interesting. This game is arena based instead of being a battle royale. And personally speaking, I would prefer arena gameplay due to how competitive this game is trying to be. I have given some feedback such as the skill section being too overwhelming for new players. And if players match the same 3 types of elements, they get some sort of bonus and a secondary bonus at 5. Which could have some interesting trade-offs if done right. But as I only have access to the demo, I don't have any PvP experience at the moment. But I'm glad that someone out there is willing to make a magic-based movement shooter again, which is nice to see. But personally, if I were to make a Spellbreak inspired game, it would be a battle royale. I will say I don't know how to make a game, but if I were to make a Spellbreak-like game, I would take some of the alpha ideas such as amulets affecting gauntlets instead of basing it off of RNG. It would work like in Team Fortress 2, for example, you have a fire gauntlet that has 3 bursted fireballs, but you have to hold it with some added trade-offs. Variety to the gauntlets within the game. Also, I would expand the looting to have ancient gauntlets. Mythic items from Fortnite. For example, you could have a lava gauntlet, but it would be redundant for it to be classed this way, and new gauntlets could be added without adding classes. A darkness gauntlet, almost erased for being evil for lore reasons. The idea being these gauntlets are overpowered and few other ideas that I can't think of. Be like how Valorant is to Counter-Strike Go. Valorant is a tactical shooter genre, but it decided to add characters with abilities to change the gameplay. For example, the character Sage is able to heal and revive.
No charges left. Your
Didn't have it in CSGO as its focus on gun skill. Like these can shift the gameplay and help it stand out. In 2 different experiences, but to end this video, Spellbreak is a game that you should try before it shuts down. You won't be able to play after it does. However, I will warn, the queue times can take 5 minutes or more. The games tend to be filled with bot lobbies and few real players. Those who stuck around will have a lot of experience. This will make it really difficult and improve on your skill level. Players frustrated, especially if you don't get good RNG. I wish at times there was a team deathmatch game mode. Some of the nicest people who share a common love for this game. I wouldn't have to deal with the RNG of Battle Royale and improve my skill level. Team players frustrated, especially if you don't get good RNG. At times I wish there was a team deathmatch game mode. I wouldn't have to deal with the RNG of the Battle Royale and improve my skill level. Unfortunately, they made domination, which in my opinion really doesn't fit within Spellbreak's AoE combat. I will miss the community of the game. I'll miss the community of the game. Met some of the nicest people who share a common love for this game. Supportive of content creators as they want people to show their love for their favorite game. Great that people want to keep this game alive before the game shuts down.
The spellstorm's closing.
Spellbreak is one of my favorite games of all time. The magical feeling of the combat is quite amazing, and the movement as well. It's a well-crafted game. While I do have mixed feeling towards the devs of the game, I wish I got better treatment by the management. While I do love the game despite my differences, and I put them aside to share my love for this game. And it's one where I'll miss the cool moments of gaming. It's one where I'll miss the coolest moments of gaming I wouldn't get from another game.